Hey friends, how you doing? It's Ernie. It's me. What am I doing? Well, what I'm doing right now is pretty cool. I'm actually going to make up a batch of Rick Simpson oil. And if you can see here, I have a, hot plate. It's actually one of these convection hot plates and a high quality pan, diamond coated pan. Um, I've I'm making a whole video on this, and I shot the first half of this before actually joining this. And this hot plate is going to be set to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And I have behind me the the solution with that was sitting in Everclear and frozen, and then shaken up every so often with the flour. So first, what we did was we ground the flour, and then we have to do something called decarboxylate the active ingredients in the flour. And you do that by putting it in a pan and putting it in the oven at about 160 degrees for a little bit. And it doesn't burn off the flour or anything like that, but it changes the chemical composition of THCA and CBDA to THC, just THC. Then we take that flour and we put it into masonry jars. And let me just show you the masonry jars. So it was in these masonry jars. As you can see, it's not in here anymore. What I did was I put all that stuff, including the Everclear, through in cheesecloth, and then squeezed it all out into this. Now, when it first came out, it was really green, and for the past, I don't know, 50 minutes or so, it's been sitting in the sun, and the green color is obviously the chlorophyll. And then the sun will then eat up the chlorophyll. So it's now turning a kind of a nice amber color. Next step is to actually pour this mixture into here and then burn off all the alcohol. Now I have to do it outside because if I did it inside, those fumes would fill the air. And then being in an enclosed space, if there was ever a spark or any other thing that could ignite it, go boom. And we don't want that. We don't want any booms. Oh, by the way, here's the subject of our matter. That's Neo. Hey, Neo. How you doing, buddy? Neo is the patient that is using the Rick Simpson oil. And we give it to him in suppositories in these gel caps that we fill with this Rick Simpson oil along with pure CBD. And we mix that up with coconut oil as well, because coconut, THC and CBD are soluble in oil and in fat. And so coconut oil is really the best medium to put it in. So I'm just waiting for this now to heat up, and then I'm going to pour the this Everclear liquid that contains all of the dissolved active ingredients from the flour. So I'm going to do that now. We do this nice and slow. I'm going to try not to get all the sediment in there. All right, so we'll let that settle for a bit, and if we can get a little bit more out of this, we'll put that in there as well. Thank you very much, Dr. Zayas. Yes, it is indeed, in fact, that it is my birthday. And last night I went to the Patriots game. Hold on. I went to the Patriots game. There's my ticket. You can see row 3, right up to the field. Got some great shots. Right on the field, right there. Got to speak with a lot of the news personalities, the players, the refs, others. The Minutemen were right in front of us, of course. It's going to take a little while to actually work. I don't want to put any of that sediment in there. Please smoke weed in front of the camera like Elon Musk. Well, thank you very much, Cassio. That's probably not going to happen. Besides, I don't really smoke flower anyways, unless it's in a vaporizer. What I will generally do now. The other thing that I need to do here, this, because the boiling point is less than water, it's going to start boiling. As a matter of fact, it's starting to bubble right now. You can see that right here. It's a nice amber color. And so it's going to take a while for all the alcohol to burn off. Well, now, like I said, we use Everclear, which is 190 proof grain alcohol, basically moonshine. And that is a very, very efficient solvent. What is this? I am making Rick Simpson oil, or cannabis oil. And the cannabis oil is well known to have healing properties, particularly with cancer. And I use it with my dog, Neo, who has lymphoma. And so we create the Rick Simpson oil, which is basically part CBD, but mostly THC oil and all the terpenes and everything else that, mostly from trimmings. But basically it's what we call the sugar leaf that we trim off of the bud. And then we store it for when we need it. And, sometimes with a grow, we can get, a pound worth of trimming. But it's all very, very high in the active ingredients, because those are the things that get trimmed that are right around the bud. So they're really frosty. And so they make it's not stuff that you can really sell to people, because people like to buy the bud, the flower. However, it's perfect for creating something like Rick Simpson oil. And that's what we're doing here. And just show that again. You can see it is boiling here. It'll get going pretty good. And essentially, I'm going to just boil all of this off. It's going to take a while. No, Rick Simpson oil is not the same as dabs. I think with dabs, you're really referring to rosin or shatter or wax. And that's made a little bit differently. There are a number of different ways. You can use a CO2 extraction method. We use pressure and heat in order to create our rosin. And what we have is a press, a screw press with 2 plates that are heated with digital heaters. And we can put up to 3,000 pounds of pressure on it, and we put the flour in between some parchment paper, put it in between these heated plates, and then start screwing it down until it gets nice and heated, and then continue to put the pressure on. And then what oozes out is the trichomes become simultaneously decarboxylated and liquefied, and then they get pushed out, and then you can collect them. And that looks like this sort of very clear amber stuff, and that's very, very pure. And that is what they call dabs. That's what a lot of people smoke in rigs. They look like bongs, and then they might have an electric nail attached to them that heats it up. Or some people will take the Pyrex part and then heat it up with a blowtorch and then put the dab in there, and then they vaporize it, and then they smoke that. So yeah, that is one way to do it. There's a bee around here. Can't have that bee. Don't want the bee going in there. Do you have to put preservatives beforehand, bagged in the freezer? No, no preservatives. This is completely organic. No preservatives of any kind. All right, so it's starting to outgas. There's some steam that's coming off of this. Some of that might be some water, but most of that is the alcohol that's burning off. Oh, I think I understand. Also, the oil doesn't go tacky like the wax dabs. Yeah, the oil stays kind of like a very thick oil. So yeah, I don't know if any of you are old enough, but when I was younger, we used to buy something called hash oil, which is essentially this. And they used to distill it, and we used to buy it in these small little vials about this big. And then we would use that and then smear that on the inside of a paper when we rolled a joint. And then that would get you an extra kick. Can I show you your grow room ever? And thanks for the feedback. I think I've shown pictures of it. If I haven't, let's see if I have any here. I think I've shown pictures on my my Discord channel. That's where I'd prefer to keep that. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. It is a beautiful house. It's a beautiful place to live. I feel like I'm on vacation every day. I live in the middle of the woods, but right around the corner is the center of town. I've got a lot of land here. I've got about, my property goes back about 1,000 feet, and I'm right in the middle of a Audubon wildlife sanctuary. So it's really beautiful here, and it's a beautiful day. There's not a cloud. Well, there's some clouds, but it's a nice blue sky. Did they have weed when you were younger? Yeah, I think so. I've been smoking. I started smoking when I was 14 years old, and probably smoked almost every day, and up until the time I was 40. But then when my kids were getting a little older, beyond toddlers, I didn't want any chance of them finding that, at least in the beginning, and so I cut back a lot. And since I found the distillation methods and rosin and the ways to get or eliminate the flour, that's what I'm into. And I'm also into edibles, that sort of thing, and into the medicinal aspects of it. It's much cleaner high. You're not ingesting any carcinogens, and it's actually quite helpful. Dabs are not really more advanced. It depends on how you do it. If you use a CO2 system as your extraction method and high pressure, then yeah, it can get pretty advanced, and those machines are really meant for volume. If you want to, say, extract rosin out of, maybe 5 or 10 pounds at a time, you would put it into one of these big tanks and use CO2 to and use that as a solvent under pressure and actually extreme cold to extract the the trichomes into the CO2 mixture and then do it like that. Expensive. They can cost anywhere from $15,000 to $200,000. This method here is sort of the home method, and it's pretty efficient. I can get about the same kind of yield in terms of percent, not in terms of volume. Of course, I don't have 5, 6, 10 pounds to do at a time. Yeah, butane. I don't like butane. Butane is far more dangerous than Everclear, and a lot of people have blown themselves up with butane. And you also can use butane. I think butane is also used inside of these CO2 extraction methods, but that's a little bit too much for me. This is clean, simple, easy. Yeah, I don't want to do any more. There's mostly sediment left in there. I mean, there might be something good in that sediment, but it's not worth it to get that tiny little bit. So I started here with about maybe 2 ounces of sugar leaf, and from that I should get, I'm going to guess and say about somewhere between 5 and 8 grams of Rick Simpson oil. And generally, Rick Simpson oil is going for, I don't know, about $70 to $80 a gram, somewhere around there. So I'm not in this to sell it at all. That's not what I do. We use all our own stuff. It's all for us. The new carry trade. You're my hero, Ernie. I'm a director of a software company. I could never disclose my use. Really? That's interesting. I would think most software companies would have a more liberal mindset. Now, of course, I live in Massachusetts, where both medical and recreational use is legal. And we have medical dispensaries, and we're now just getting over that hump of approving our first recreational dispensary. And in fact, my daughter, she works as a patient advocate and also as a master grower at a dispensary. So we've been growing for quite some time, and so we're, pretty knowledgeable about this stuff. Dabs are more pure than RSO. That's true. That is true. But we use them to do 2 different things. I don't use the RSO to smoke. I use it to ingest. And usually in combination with some coconut oil or something like that. That's right. Not as good for medicinal use. Cooking classes with Ernie. Yep. And Dr. Zayas. Would someone who is not sick benefit from taking Rick Simpson oil or hemp seed oil? Yes, absolutely. There's a ton. As a matter of fact, there is some in my Discord group. I have a special channel for weed, and there are some videos that I put in there that talk about Rick Simpson oil. And there's a lot of studies that are being done on it. Now, of course, Rick Simpson oil is a collaboration of a wide range of CBDs and THCs and other terpenes and other chemicals that come from the plant. So it's not just THC and CBD. And there's something about that combination that together, and also inclusive of these terpenes, that has this medicinal value, and then different combinations for different types of ailments. But it's also good for preventative stuff. It's good for health. There's such a level of dishonesty around crypto. No one wants to make the distinction between blockchain and the code called currency. Trying to change the subject. I know that my subject matter was the cult of blockchain, and I was doing a lot of research on that before I was tasked with this. Normally my daughter's doing this, and so, but she couldn't be here. So, and we ran out of pills or suppositories for Neo, so I had to step up. And otherwise I would be doing research and talking to you more about the cult of blockchain. But I've talked about it sufficiently and probably at length. Yeah, I don't think there's any way for me to get that last bit of solution. Blockchain is not crypto. So I've heard that, and that's exactly right. Crypto is a use case of blockchain and Byzantine fault-tolerant consensus algorithms. So those are two different things. Digital currency is a use case of a blockchain and consensus algorithm combination. Other things that consensus algorithm and blockchain or any kind of distributed ledger can be many, many other different use cases. Of course, nobody's really seemed to have found one that sticks or resonates with people. Yet they have formed this cult as if it can solve all the world's problems and make our lives ultra more efficient and not have to really trust anybody, because now we can do transactions and count votes and do this and that, all because of blockchain. And I'm here to tell you that I think that is unbelievably overhyped to the max. Now, I'm not saying that the technology isn't good. Au contraire, I believe that it is a very good technology, and we'll find ways to use it. Right now, it simply does not fit into corporate culture or business models or anything for that matter. Now, that's not to say that something might not appear tomorrow. I don't know, but I'm waiting. I am waiting. But I'm not part of that cult that thinks that all our world problems and society and culture are going to evolve because of blockchain. That's just friggin' ridiculous. Does the chloroform leach into the alcohol or get left behind in your RSO? No, what I do is, prior to putting it in here and cooking it, I took all what I had squeezed out and filtered in here, and I put it in the sun. Put it in the sun for about a little under an hour, and then it went from this green color down to this kind of amber color. And the sun basically does the job of getting rid of the chlorophyll. Awesome. Your resume is greater than mine. Has this ever affected your professional life? Did you hide it or disclose? I would love to disclose. Well, generally, I've been a consultant for most of my life, either that or the boss. So when I say the boss, I mean that I held high-level positions. And so I never really came across anybody that wanted to, drug test me or anything like that. Of course, I grew up in a different era than you guys, for the most part. Never was really a problem. I mean, let me put it this way: when I took my SATs when I was younger, back in the 70s, I went to that SAT test stoned out of my mind. I found some Hawaiian and some Thai stick, and we smoked that up before we went into the test. I was baked. But I got a 790 on my math and a 690 on my verbal, or my, So apparently it didn't affect me there. I probably could have done, got 800s on both of them had I not been smoking, I guess. But it certainly hasn't hurt me. Call it currency, call it what you like. Just give me that legal tender. Yeah. That's interesting because, I accept cryptocurrencies for my businesses, my online businesses. But as soon as I get it, I turn it into fiat so that I can use it. Let's see who this is. Hello. I get these like errant calls. I have no idea where they're coming from all the time. I gotta wonder if somebody's either trolling me or trying to gain some info. Yeah, not trusting people at all is very antisocial. I agree. And I think that from that point of view, I think digital currencies and the idea of trustless uh, transfer of value is a flawed concept. Philosophically, it's flawed. Will blockchain fit into a new system after the reset? What reset? You're a reset bug, huh? Oh, yeah, we're going to have a reset. Don't count on any reset for a long time. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm saying that it's completely overblown. We're not going to see a reset. May not see it in your lifetime. May. We might. Don't know. But why are you worried about that? Live in the here and now. Live in the present. Deal with today's issues. And if reset happens, all right, you have no idea what it's going to mean in the greater context of things. So why even bother even thinking about it? I mean, it's an okay intellectual exercise to think about it and maybe think about how you might prepare, but you really don't understand or know what life is going to be like in the in the in a reset, a currency reset. Did Amazon get a hold of you? No. Yeah, for half of my accounts. So I started up a new PayPal account too, so that's available. So if you want to take and get the subscription for the artificial intelligence alerts, there'll be a link down below that will bring you to my website so that you can do that. If you do it now, before the end of next week, I'm selling the course that goes along with it for half price. The course will normally go for $250. I'm selling it for $125. So the first payment will be $99 plus $125 or $224, and then $99 a month after that. So I would suggest doing that now so you can get that course at that price. It's a great deal. However, it really doesn't matter because, quite frankly, the first winning trade that you're going to have will pay for the next 4, 5, 6, 7 months, maybe a year of these of the subscription, anyways. And you might have several of those wins a week. So, not that it really makes a difference, but hey, saving money is saving money, right? You were all closet smokers. No, that's not true at all. We smoked openly everywhere. And yeah, in '78, absolutely. Cops never really did anything. At least not in my town, and certainly not at school. I mean, there were some cops that were real hard asses, but it wasn't until the '80s and later '80s that things started to really crack down. This whole say no to drug bullshit, and they ramped up the war on drugs, and that was really a sad time in our history. Blockchain is a ledger, so it can work in many environments, but it's not currency. I think we've established that. The blockchain is a distributed ledger. Currency or digital currency is a use case of blockchain plus consensus algorithms and other accounting applications and a wallet. Who needs Ambien when you have Bitcoin, a Bitcoin price ticker? Yeah, it's pretty sick. I mean, when you start talking about the cult of Bitcoin, I mean that's what it comes down to. There are people that sit there in their basement and watch that damn price all day. It's really sick. Do I have a view on C60? No idea what C60 is. Maybe I do know, but I don't know what C60 is off the top of my head. So I have no view of C60. If you're going to tell me that it's a project, then my initial view is that it's probably a scam and fraud. And then my secondary view after looking at it with a critical eye is that even what I read, if it sounds good, it's probably a scam. And then my third view is that it's probably most definitely a scam. Hopefully that settles that, huh? So still boiling. You can see the bubbles. Got to wait until there are no bubbles. Carbon 60 acts like charcoal. What would I use carbon 60 for? I don't see the relevance of the question. When this starts getting lower and most of the alcohol is burned off, you got to keep this stirring. Now, I'm gonna get some more professional equipment to do this in the future. What I really need is a hot plate with a magnetic stirrer in it, and then I'll get some Pyrex flasks, and then do all the distillation in there. Then it can stir it up for me, and it'd be a little bit more controlled. Although this works pretty well. You know, I have no problem with this. There's the patient. Yeah, so like I said, I went to the Patriots game last night. It was an 8 o'clock game, or 8:05 start. I only live about 4 miles from the stadium, and it was a great game. The Patriots made a lot of mistakes, but they certainly did enough to blow the Colts away. Tom Brady looked fantastic. I got some good video of him diving over the goal line, and I mean, he was literally right in front of me. I'm on the third row, so he was like right there. Our seats are right in the end zone, so that should come out good. I'll put that up on the site, up on the channel, maybe later today. Wonder if I can find the video. See if I can find the video, and maybe I can show you. Is that it? No, that's not it. Just looking at some of the videos. This is where I sat. That cool? I think this is where Tom Brady. Carbon 60 is like activated charcoal. I think I have carbon 60 in my charcoal filters in the grow tents. Yeah, there it is. That was Tom Brady. I think. Is that where he scored? Yeah. That was Tom Brady jumping over the goal line. Well, Dr. Zayas, I know that your account's too small to trade the futures. However, the simple FX might work. The thing is, you can play, I think, as big as you want or small as you want with that. Is vaping cannabis oil the healthy way to enjoy weed? Yeah, it's okay, but I'd rather vape rosin. That would be better. A lot of people vape the cannabis oil, and they usually mix it with coconut oil, and that gives it's pretty tasty and easy. But I prefer vaping rosin, which is much more pure. The cult of blockchain, reading the light trading range, but they call for the explosion upward. Yeah, everyone's calling for this explosion upwards. They're saying that there's this big wedge, and they might be right. I talked a little bit yesterday about the fall in volatility and how we're coming to a point where there is going to be some kind of explosion or implosion. Getting whiffs of that alcohol. What is it, buddy? Stadium looked empty. You got to be shitting me. There wasn't an empty seat in the entire stadium. I don't know what you were looking at. Maybe it's because we're so close you can't see the breadth of it. There are some people that ingest C60 mixed with oil and that think it has anti-aging cancer properties. Never heard of that. Steve says, what do you think of the Meyer multiple? You caught me at a loss because I don't know what the Meyer multiple is. Maybe I do know, maybe just not by that name or don't remember. Seems that I've probably forgotten most things, probably more things than what most people remember. But let's look up the Meyer multiple on the phone. Meyer multiple. Is it the Mayer or Meyer? The current Mayer multiple is 0.89 with a BTC price of USD at 65.40 and a 200-day moving average of something. Must have been the phone's resolution. The far off seats looked empty. Oh. Meyer multiple, the distance away the price is from the 200-day moving average. Oh. 0.89 is low, which is good buy long term. So they say. The average is 1.54. What do you think about XRP? It's a piece of shit. It's a wannabe. They've tried to remake themselves. They're the Frankenstein of crypto. That's what I think. I really don't have anything good to say about any of the projects out there, other than the fact that there's a lot of clever technology and a lot of talented people that have been working on them. All of them swept up in the hype, in the story, and the idea that somehow it's going to transform all of our lives, which I simply do not believe. I reject. I reject it. But the Meyer multiple, I'd like to see some statistical evidence that it's a good buy at this price. I've never heard of it. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist or that it's not good. But most trading setups, patterns, candlestick formations, chart patterns, they're absolutely useless unless you have them in the proper context and with empirical statistical evidence that they're worth something. Otherwise, it's useless commenting on these things. What do I think of John McAfee? Not much. The guy is a shill. He is a carnival barker. He's a very interesting guy. I like watching him because he's fun to watch. In the same way I like to watch Jordan Belfort. But would I buy anything off of him? No friggin' way. Unless it's for entertainment value. XRP seems steady over 50 cents. Still a dodgy trade, even short term, he thinks. Not a long term anything. Well, as a trading vehicle, that's something different, you know? Does it have enough liquidity? No. I mean, Bitcoin barely has enough liquidity. So XRP, I can't even imagine. If you search Meyer multiple, it will take you to a website with a lot of data. Fine, I will look at it and I will evaluate that data. But more often than not, I find those things a big dead end and a waste of my time. I still see market forces adopting the tech and leaving the blaze trailers in the dust. I don't care what you see. I don't see anything until I actually see it. That's the difference. Didn't McAfee get charged for a stock for a stock just recently? I don't know. That's a good question. But I think that he has been in trouble with the law, but that's mostly been for suspicion of murder. I don't get why people trust him. He's always been a scammer. Except, you know, he did create McAfee antivirus, which was pretty good. Is Jordan Belfort correct? I think so. I was rating, I think so. Is he correct about what? That Bitcoin is a fraud and a scam? Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like listening to him, and at least listening to his side. But he doesn't have any really good argument, other than that he knows scams and frauds because he used to be one of the biggest scams and fraudsters out there. Now, for those that don't know, Jordan Belfort is the real Wolf of Wall Street that Leonardo DiCaprio played in that movie, which was really a semi-realistic account of Jordan Belfort's life. And he was like the ultimate fraudster and scammer. That's his argument, that he can recognize a scam because he's an expert at it. Oh, by the way, Jordan Belfort went to jail. Now he's out. And now he's pushing his motivational speaking on sales technology, selling, corporate selling, that sort of thing. I don't get why people trust him. He's always been a scammer. Oh, pump and dump, PND, pump and dump. I see. I don't know that John McAfee was arrested or got in trouble with pump and dumps. I think he's been called out on shilling and pumping, and he may have gotten in trouble, but I don't know. I don't know that for sure. What do you think of Trace Mayer, the mayor? Someone asked that earlier, and I have no comment on it. I'll have to go and look at the website and see what kind of statistical evidence that they have. Usually their statistical evidence or their body of evidence and their white papers or whatever are total bullshit, but it takes a little while to get through it and understand what they're talking about. Planetaire Capital was funded by CIA money, started by Peter Thiel. He invested big in Bitcoin, but Planetaire is a data mining company started with CIA money. Interesting, says Steve Brule. All right, if you say so. I have no idea. Boiler Room is a good watch. Boiler Room, the movie, yes. I watch a lot of movies. When you work at home and you have these big, massive screens and you can do shit like that and you have time on your hands, you can watch movies in the background and do something over here. So I end up watching lots of movies. So this has already burned off about, I would say, 60 to 70% of the alcohol. I don't know if you can tell, but when I started, it was above those rivets. So it's probably going to take another hour or so for it to get down and distilled enough. And going to stir it every once in a while. This sediment at the bottom will probably make some good hash. It looks like keef. So yes, that is a true statement, Cassio, that crypto is full of scammers, fraudsters, and full with naive permabulls on hopium. It is insane, absolutely. Yes, this is definitely an outdoor job because if all that alcohol vapor were to, build up in an enclosed space and there was just any kind of spark, boom, and that wouldn't be fun. So for those of you that are just coming on, I'm cooking up some Rick Simpson oil here. That's what this is on this very sophisticated hot plate or induction heater. I'm on my porch. It's my backyard. Property goes way, 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 way back. I have a trail. I've done several videos on this where I've walked around my entire property. I used to do what I call walk and talk videos. Unfortunately, they're all gone now. Do you still offer coaching? Yeah, absolutely. I don't need help with trading. I have people that do that for me, but I definitely could use some of your experience in leadership roles within the software dev space. Yeah, well, I've got a great deal of coaching experience in both um, executive coaching as well as trader coaching, and I've been the technical advisor to C-level folk as high up as Fortune fives. So I've been around, done that. So if you need some help, sure, give me a call. Uh, Raziel, good. McAfee pump and dump management. It was a recent charge. Oh, I didn't see it. Markets are crashing right now? Ah, fuck. Have the markets top? No, I don't think so. Getting a little spooked by a small jobs number. I don't know what you're talking about crashing though. Let's see what the definition of crashing is. They're down a fair amount. I wouldn't call that crashing. I don't think the markets have topped at all. As a matter of fact, I think that we're in the process of one of the largest secular bull runs in human history. And I think it's going to keep on going like that for quite some time, for decades. Best way to contact me. You can go to my website, traderoffutures.com, and then click on the About link. And there's a number of ways to contact me there. The CIA confronted one of the cyberpunks that was in communications with Satoshi. Maybe they use Bitcoin to trace transactions. They are known to create things that do the opposite of what they're supposed to do. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not into the conspiracy thing, but you might be right. I don't know. No worries. The plunge protection team will ramp up into the close. Love me a good conspiracy. What do you think about GE? I haven't been following it, so I don't know. The Dow is down 250 points. 10-year is up. 250 points is nothing on the Dow. It's only 1%. You think we won't have recessions? I didn't say we won't have recessions. They'll be small, but we're not going to have a big crash. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying in the long term, we're on a big bull run. All right, Sammy, Zuko, you can laugh if you'd like. Do you have superior knowledge? Love to hear your superior knowledge. Getting down there. It's getting way down there. Got to keep doing that until there's no more bubbles. That means all the alcohol will have been burnt off. As they always have. I'm skeptical, too, about the claim a multiple decade bull run has never occurred before. But it has. What are you talking about? Go and look at a monthly chart of the Dow and then tell me. The question is if we have topped short to midterm. No. No, I don't think so. I think the longest run we've had may have been 17 years. So I guess that is multiple decades. It might be a little bit longer. All right. So I don't know if you want to continue watching me cook up Rick Simpson oil, but there's not much else for me to say right now. And I got to get busy on some stuff. And so I'm going to, and besides, I've already been on for almost 2 hours, and that's way over what I normally do. Has it been 2 hours? No, it's only been an hour. Oh, it's 2 o'clock. We started at 1, right? Not bad. So that's not bad. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for showing up here today. Thank you for your questions. I'm going to be producing a video on this whole process of making Rick Simpson oil. All right. So take care, guys. Thank you very much. All right. Wait a minute. Robish3 says, would you add a small bit of water at the end when all the alcohol is gone? I think I've seen a video somewhere where they did that, but not sure why. No, we don't do that. Beautiful scenery. Great show, Ernie. Thank you. You're welcome, Cassio. High voltage, thanks. You're welcome. And thank you all for showing up. We'll see you next time. I'm sure. Oh, by the way, again, if you want to join the subscription service for the artificial intelligence setups, then go to my website, traderofutures.com, or click the link down below and then go there. It's $99 a month. If you sign up prior to the very first class, which is next Saturday, you'll get the training that will go along with that. And it's kind of a specialized training where you'll get a primer on futures and also, you know, how the system works. What are some of the optimal ways to put it together into a trading strategy, that sort of thing. So it's a very useful trading. But if you sign up before then you'll get the training at half price, which will normally be $250. I'm offering it right now at $125. So please go there, sign up, become part of the team. And if you haven't seen the trading calls that I've been making, I've done multiple videos on it. I was doing it on my Discord for months and months. It has about an 80% win rate and a return on capital that is way over the top. I mean, a risk to reward ratio of minimum 1 to 5 or better. Actually, you know, since trading it online, it's been way over 80%, probably closer to 90, low 90s. But very good. Anyways, that's it. We'll see you all. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Take care.